Hello everyone, welcome to the 13th part of the tutorial series. This is part 3 of the aggregation functions in SQL with group by statement. In the previous tutorial, we looked at the aggregation functions, which is the sum and the average aggregate functions. We are going to combine the group by statement with the aggregation functions we've been looking at. So, SQL group by statement groups rows that have the same values into summary rows. The group by statement is often used with aggregate functions, the count, max, mean, sum, average, to group the result set by one or more columns. Let's connect to our database. Open your query editor, change our working database. First of all, let's look at the syntax for the group by. The syntax we say select column name or columns from the table, the table name, where you provide a condition group by. What are you grouping by, or what column are you using to group by? You can provide one or more columns, meaning the grouping will follow the order in which you provide the columns if you have more than one column. Then you close if you want. You can add the order by. We've looked at the order by in one of the tutorial videos. Order by column name or column names, and then close. So this is the syntax for the group by statement. The SQL group by statement groups rows that have the same values into summary rows. It's used in conjunction with the count function, max function, mean, sum, and average function. In short, it's used in conjunction with the aggregation functions in SQL. This is the syntax. This one is the syntax we've looked at. Let's try to practice. For example, the supervisor wants you to return the smallest price for each category in the product table. Let's check our product table. Select all. So this is our products table. Now we are saying the supervisor wants us to return the smallest price for each category in the products table. Using the category, they want us to return the smallest price. For example, looking at the category 1, so for this category, you have to return the smallest price. We check the unit price. The unit price is this one. Now, for example, if we had just 2 rows for the category 1 or category ID 1, we have 18 and 19. To return the smallest, we have to return 18. But how are we going to do that? So we are saying select the smallest price. Remember, we are using aggregation functions in conjunction with the group by statement. To return the smallest, we say mean, which is the smallest. The mean of what? It's a unit price. unit price. We provide the alias as smallest price. Category ID. From the table we are using is products table. And then here we are going to group by using the category ID. So we say group by category ID. So we are returning the smallest unit price according to the categories. So we are telling SQL that from this table, we want you to group by the IDs, and then you return the smallest or the minimum of the column unit price, but name the column as smallest price, and you add the category ID because we are grouping it using the category ID. Fingers crossed, we check there. So the table here, our result says, let's ignore the first row. We start on category ID number 1. So for the category ID number 1, the smallest price is 2. Smallest unit price is 2. For number 2, it's 5. 3 is 9.2, and so on and so forth. Now coming to the first row, category ID now is 50. This 50 is both minimum and maximum, the smallest and the biggest or the largest. Why here it says now? It's because there is a now value for a certain record in the category ID. Let's check the products. I think it was for Nshima, if I remember, in one of the tutorials. Yes, we added Nshima, but we didn't provide the ID here. The ID is now. So for the ID now, it's going to pick this one, the unit price, as the smallest and the largest or the biggest. So it's both the minimum and the maximum. No wonder there it says now ID and then it picks 50. It's the only record we have for the now value in category ID. So we go back again to this one. So SQL is doing is, from this table, gets the table, identifies the table, and then it groups by group category ID, and then went on to get the minimum of the unit price, giving it a name, smallest price, and also adding the category ID. This is the result. I think it will be better to write it in this way. It makes more sense, like this. Yes. So for category ID now, it's 50. For number 1, 20, 2, 5, 3, 9.20, and so on and so forth. To return the highest, you can copy the same one. On the minimum, we put the max. And then we rename the column as what? Let's say largest. For biggest, you can say that. We execute here. Remember what I said about the first row. It's going to pick 50 as the largest and the smallest, both the min and the max. Reason being, it's the only record we have for the now value, or for the record having the now category ID. So the only record we have on the database. So it's going to pick both for the min and the max. So the next for the category ID 1, that is the largest, 2, that one, 3, that one, and so on and so forth. Our interest here is using the group by statement, this one, together with the aggregation function. So we are grouping our results using the group by statement, which groups rows that have the same values into summary rows. Same values. Use this category ID is the same value. So it's grouping rows having the category ID number 1 as a summary. But the summary here is coming from the aggregation function, the max aggregate function. We can also get the sum of the unit price instead of max, we say sum. You can say sum. We are grouping the same with category ID. We execute. So this is the sum. The first row, all the results we are going to get using the aggregation functions and the group by, it's going to be 50 because it's the only record we have, the only value we have for the category ID now. So we are just going to ignore for now. Category ID number 1, that is the sum, 2, 3, and so on and so forth. Let's change the table. Select all from, I think let's use the orders table. Order details table. Let's say our supervisor wants us to return a summary of the orders ID and the quantity of the orders with respect to the products. What do I mean? What I mean is this. Select order ID, the sum of the quantity as total quantity from order details group by order ID. So we want to retain the sum of the total quantities, the quantities sold for each order with respect to the product, grouping them by order ID. We are renaming the quantity or the sum of the quantity as total quantity. We check. So this is the summary. So for the order ID 1025-1, the total quantity we sold was 41 products. For this one, 105 products. So we are creating a summary. So this is a summary of this one. Let's do this. So the second table here is a summary of this one. So for each ID, what we sold was 27. So like for 10, 10, 24, 8, this one was 27. This one was that one. How are we getting the summary? We are getting the summary or the total quantities. What SQL is doing is, for each order ID, these three are the same. So it gets the quantity saying 12 plus 10, this is 22, plus 7, which is 27. That's how we're getting this 27. For this order ID, this and this, they are the same. So it gets 9 plus 40, which is 49. This is a 49. So this one is a summary of this one. We'll just remove the unit price, the discount, and the product ID to get the summary. Let's check just this one alone. This is the summary. Let's try to use the average. I think we can use this one for the average. Let's see. Instead of sum, we say average. Average of unit price, AVG price. Yes, this one is okay. We check. For row number 1, it's always the same. We forget that one. Number 2, that's the average. That one, yes, and so on and so forth. How about the count? Let's see. The same one. We put count. Count. Can we use price? Yeah, we can use price. But I think let's check what's on the products table. Products table, this one. Okay, this is what we have on the products table. Okay, what if we say we use the same price? We're going to experiment the same price and then grouping them by category ID. Then we say sales. Hope it will make sense. Hope it will make sense. For now value, we only made one sale. For category ID 1, we made 16 sales. How can we count? For category ID 6, we made 6 sales. For 7, 5 sales. Let's try to filter. We say where the where clause should be on top, where category ID equals 7. Since that's the lowest, let's go this one. Let's see what we get. If we get 5, then we are on the right track, which is that one. We only made 5 sales for the category ID 7. How about category ID now? We get nothing. We didn't make any sale, but we made one sale. If we check on this one, there. So here, category ID is not equal to now, but it's a now value. It's not set to now, but it's a now value. So can we do this where category ID dot is now? Can we do this? We can't write this. We get syntax error. So we do this where category ID is now. We checked. We said we made one sale. meaning we are on the right track now. So this one for the average, and then we say equals 7. There is this one. We are just filtering. We can ignore this one, we remove this part, and then we remain with the summary. To prove it, we add a filter to say for the now, how many cells did we make? We made 1 cell. For category ID 5, how many did we make? 7 cells. So this is how you use the group by with aggregate functions in SQL. For today we end here. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share the video. If you have any questions, drop them in the comment section. I'll make sure I answer them. Thank you for watching once again, and in the next video we are going to be looking at the wildcards in SQL. Let's meet in the next video.